Alright, so before we actually go ahead and start modeling our high-res domino, let's see how the information is going to be passed from our low-res to our high-res. So effectively, this geometry we have here will act as our simulation geometry. So we don't have a lot of extra edges, and we'll get the idea of what we need with this so we can speed up our simulation. And that information gets passed, this information from the sim dominoes gets passed over to the simulation. And again, we can look at these as different departments. So this is a modeling department, and this passes this geometry. This geometry will be passed over to the simulation. Simulation will use this information, and you can see it has the sim geo, the sphere object, and the ground plane, and it does all the calculations, and then it's working with groups. Okay, it's assigning all of the rotations to a pivot point per group here, per polygon island, and that gets sent back. So that's the only thing that gets sent back. Are these center pivots of these objects, or the center geometry of these objects over here. So each point, each section gets sent back into whatever node has, or into whatever where is it? Right here. Into whatever node has this section in place. So this DOP import is meant to get the information out of simulation onto whatever models, whatever arbitrary models we have. So if we were to actually create a new tree, I'll just call this tab, we'll get a geometry node, and then within it we'll do an object merge. And then on the object merge, we'll grab us our curve. So if we look at our sim dominoes, we'll actually have to create a new section here. So if we go to sim dominoes, since I want to output that curve, we'll just create a new null. Out curve. So we'll have that out curve right there, which will be a lot easier to get in the future. And in this one, we'll call this render domino. And here we'll grab that out curve. So out curve accept. So now we have this curve in our solve, or in this tree. And now we can put in our high-res, what will be our high-res geometry. So we'll just grab us a sphere. And I know the sphere isn't terribly high-res, but that's okay. We'll copy parameter, paste relative reference right here. So if we template this sphere and we scale this up, you gotta see now we're getting this set up, and we can kind of squish this down a little bit. So this is what we have, and we'll use the copy SOP. Copy, and we'll plug our sphere and our template path in place. So this is what we get. We have we have a bunch of surfboards which totally don't match our other geometry, but this kind of just shows you how everything's being applied. The most important thing with this whole process is making sure that we have our output groups, and that our output groups are the same as what the simulation tree, the simulation department is working with. So if we go ahead and hit and just type in sim domino underscore, and then we'll put $PT, since that's exactly what we did in our first group. Now that we have this assigned, when we do a DOP import, we can pull in that same data from our simulation over here. So we'll hit accept, and for our, well, we can activate this right now. You can see there's nothing here, and we're just gonna import, turn off import by name, and then we'll bring in our object mask. We can go sim domino underscore, and then let's say we put 4 in here. So it's going to filter out everything but 4, or if we do 8, you got to see that we're able to see this is the one group ID. But if we put a star here, we can get everything back in. And again, this is just working with our animation. So the animation that's coming out of the Autodop is being applied to this render guy right here. So if we actually hit play now, just give it a moment, you got to see that the animation is now being passed on. And we're getting overlapping, we're getting clipping with the geometry, and that's because this geometry isn't being used to simulate. It's another piece of geometry. The small domino is what's being used to simulate. So if we didn't want this clipping, we would actually have to change the size down of our surfboards. So in that case, we could probably just do a transform right here, and then just scale everything down a little bit. So now it's going to feel a little bit better. And you get to see that now we're suffering from another problem altogether. They're not really touching, but if we come back here, it looks the same. So this is the whole process of working with your high res. So this is working with doing low res simulation and transferring that low res information to our high res over here. Okay, so that's what this is going to be. So we can actually take this out, and this right here, this is all we're going to need in order to get our new high-res geometry, get our new high-res dominoes, which we'll be modeling next, and getting them their animation. So we'll go ahead, we'll save this out. Whoops. So here, I'll just call this Domino Sim. Sim Dom Render Dom. Okay. So we have that out, and now we're going to go ahead and take a look at modeling our dominoes.